All right, welcome to another episode of the Fatboy FadeAway Sports Podcast. Sunday morning here, 6/6/21, 6:15. Tyler, we're doing it a little bit earlier today. It's all right. Get it out a little earlier. We're up. We're up early all the time now, so this is no problem at all. How you doing?
I'm good.
Ready to do some sports talk, man?
Yeah, good week of basketball.
Playoffs are second round, getting ready to start up. So we're gonna preview the round that just happened, the first round. Kind of give a little quick take on each team. May focus on a couple series along the way, and then we're gonna move on to give our predictions for the next round. Some of the odds we like, and I might have a few other things along the way as well. I know we wanted to talk about Coach K a little bit as well, so we'll probably get into that as well. So anything in your world happened this week?
My dad had an accident. He's doing good now. He's recovered at home.
Prayers up to Greg.
Yeah, he was on the podcast. We got a big game 7 coming up at noon Pacific time. I can't wait for.
Man, game 6, what a game by Leonard. It was funny because me and Hannah's dad were talking literally the game after game 5 about how Leonard kind of seems to maybe have lost a step a little bit. And then he comes out and was pretty clutch in game 6 to kind of say, not quite. He had some clutch shots in that game. We'll get into that series a little bit more, but man, he was really good in that game.
He's a stud. He's so strong.
Yeah, he is. He is really good. Well, in my week.
What about you? Anything new with you?
Yeah, well, this is graduation week. Last week of school here, in our neck of the woods here in Sonoma County. So kids.
Oh, is that why you've been so busy? Getting a hold of you and trying to do anything with you has been impossible.
No, this is not a good week for me to do it. Next week's not a good week either. But maybe after the beginning. But we had graduations. We got 2 kindergarten graduations, 8th grade graduation, and then I was invited to go to the Windsor High School graduation yesterday. So I felt pretty honored there because there was only 4 people invited per person. So one family I was able to go, and it was cool because I was able to see a lot of kids that I coached in 8th grade. They were just happened to be graduating in that little pod that they did, and so there's about 8 of them. So that was pretty cool to catch up with a lot of them. But I was thinking as I was doing the graduation, I was like, because even then there's still 150 people, right? You see.
So that's how big the pods are, 150.
Yeah, so I think there's 330, Ethan said, or something like that. So and you're sitting there after the people are called, and you're just rocking there, roasting there, but it was still a good time. Yeah. And then I was curious about graduations. You had to sit through a few of them.
A few, three siblings.
We always talk about how it's the most boring thing.
And a college graduate and a law school graduate. Too many stupid.
Well, I do have fond memories. I shouldn't say boring. It's you're glad to be there to support the person, but the process sometimes is not the most exciting after a while. Let's just put it that way.
It's pretty boring, other than when they call the person you know's name. Other than that,
I wanted to be a little bit more political about it. Yes, you're right. One of the graduations I did enjoy, though, I gotta say, was our sister's graduation from Sac State, because we happened to be sitting next to you guys at the very top of Arco Arena.
Remember that? Classic arena. Did you bring cowbell? We brought cowbells for old time's sake.
That was fun, just to kind of all be in that little area there. You could talk loud, and it's just a big graduation, so that was kind of fun to do that. That's one of my memories with graduations there. And then the most famous sports graduation was the Vince Carter one, right?
Yeah, that's where I would go. Right before game 7.
That's the
get his degree.
Took the most heat for that. I really don't.
Mama said, "Get your degree."
I don't think it was the end of the world, that big of a deal, but I don't know. I guess to each their own.
Unnecessary travel. I don't know.
To each their own. If they would have won, like I said, no big deal. And I don't think he played that great too. If I remember that game as well, he wasn't. I don't know. Unreal. So yeah, that was the one thing. Oh, I was going to tell you. Have you ever been to a graduation with anybody that spoke that was famous? Because sometimes they are these alums that come in and speak.
No, unfortunately, no one any good.
No one any good. Yeah, I remember my cousin. He graduated from San Luis Obispo, and he had. And I was 17 at the time, and I was like, oh, Ozzie Smith, he was there. So he did
Really?
yeah, because that's where he went to school to play baseball. I didn't know that.
That'd be pretty cool.
And so he did it. And, I was like, oh, that was kind of neat. I was like, I don't remember. Short little guy. He wasn't a big guy at all.
I think Mike Krukow might have gone there too. He went to one of those.
He
schools
did.
down there.
I know at the time his kids went there. That
really?
was the thing. Yeah, at the time his kids went there. Marty Lurie stats.
Oh god.
So I did that. So yeah, I'm glad summer's in there. It's so for me on a school standpoint, I'm done with all that. So we're ready to rock and roll. So yeah, I was thinking about activities that I would be doing this time of year if I was a kid. When I was like in elementary school and stuff like that, I was like definitely be getting ready for the college baseball World Series. Right, that was always like the big thing over. Like this time I'd come home and those games would be on and stuff like that. Do you watch the college baseball World Series anymore?
Not if like Vanderbilt's playing and Leiter or Rocker or whatever his name is.
Sometimes I'll get into it just a little bit because it feels like it has a little league element where they're like the games are never over sometimes.
With those middle bats, you could, but sometimes it's one running, like it's over. These kids have no chance of hitting this guy.
No, that's true.
It's like Little League, you said. It's exactly like Little League.
I mean, obviously they're better.
Well, not exactly. Yeah, way better on a bigger field.
They're better than little Johnny there, but yeah, that was the
yeah. That's what I would be doing right now, though. You said, what would I be doing going into the summer? Getting ready for All Stars in baseball and then the dreaded soccer tryouts.
Soccer. And then there'd always be like one hit movie I'd be looking forward to. You got the promotion throughout the whole year. You did get the movie theater, but like July 2000 or July 1998. What's coming out there? Yeah. So it's funny. I know it's like graduation class of 2021. I was like, holy crap. I was like,
people born in the 2000s could drink alcohol.
I know. I was like, God. The guy that was giving the speech was like, made a reference to like Hannah Montana and stuff. I was like, oh man, it's getting older. Like, get a little old here. Get a little old here, Derek. Get a little older. So yeah, I did see a little random thing too yesterday. I was coming out of Starbucks yesterday in Cloverdale here, and there was a guy getting off a motorcycle, and he just parked a random tent right in the parking lot and started sleeping in it. It was a very
what?
I know. I guess that's just we allow stuff like that here now. So that was something to look out for. I'm like going to the drive-thru. I mean, just a normal guy with a biker. He just plops up this like little tent and starts. I see he's like getting ready to like put stuff out, and I'm like, man, what's going on? He's just taking over like 4 spots of the.
Welcome to California.
I guess so. I always say that about Cloverdale. We're like the spot where people go from Mendocino County. If anybody see, what's that movie? I heard you get a lot of like hits on Netflix. It was like it was about
Killer
like,
Mountain or something Mountain. About
yeah,
weed.
I've heard it. I've heard people that you should really check it out. That's I've heard it's pretty insane. Hey, why don't we?
It's a lot of meth heads.
Yeah, that is very true. And they like it. You can tell they run the county like it about your I was watching some weird show yesterday on Hulu. I couldn't even like stand it. It was too demonic for me. It was like this one with this lady, like she's stuck in this area, or they have like red coats and they're stuck in this like society, I guess, or something like that. I was like, this I'm out.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
I'm out on this. Too much for me. All right, why don't we take a break there? We'll come back with our NBA preview of the first round, anyways. All right, we're back. NBA. Let's go over the first round here, T. I was able to I thought it was an interesting first round. It didn't quite play out the way I saw it. Some of the series went a little bit shorter, a little bit longer than I thought. So we're going to go over each one real quick, give a little take on each of them, and then we'll give our prediction on the next round here. We're not going to talk about Bucks Heat. That was a sweep. That's pretty obvious. Bucks were way better. Heat just
sucked.
They just suck. So we'll talk more about the Bucks here in a little bit. All right, let's go Philly, Washington real quick. My quick takes. Embiid, is showing that kind of hurt kind of thing a little bit in the playoffs. That's tough to win a championship when your best players kind of in and out of the lineup like that. Obviously, they're way better with him in. That's kind of one of the storylines for me. They're not winning without him. So that's just kind of plain and simple what it is. So also Ben Simmons, I feel like his defense is just it's top notch. You know, I know Washington is not the best team, but just his little things that he does is pretty special on the wing there. And I think because he knows he's such a bad shooter, it just forces him to even hone in more and more on that skill. And I think he's going to get even better for the next 3 years. I think that he's just going to be eventually you slow down in that area, but I can see him just being better and better in that like a Leonard, almost like a Leonard for 3 years, basically.
Yeah, but he's never going to score like Leonard.
No, but just defensively.
Yeah,
Defensively,
I was impressed. I was impressed with Tobias Harris in the series.
Yeah, he had some really good games, huh? That
Yeah,
game one
played
especially.
game one. He was phenomenal. I was like, "Who the
Yeah.
heck where's this Tobias Harris come from?" Like, I always thought he was kind of they screwed up by citing him and not making sure Jimmy Butler came back and gave. Like, I thought that was a mistake, and I don't know. Maybe Jimmy Butler couldn't make a shot against the Bucks, which we didn't really get into, but. I was just very impressed with Tobias Harris. Obviously, they need Embiid to be healthy, and I think the Hawks might give them a little trouble this little future.
Yeah, no, I'm with you.
Going into that game.
Yeah, no, I think you're right, especially without Embiid possibly. Real quick from a Washington standpoint, I was thinking about should they rebuild? But they've kind of been through so many rebuilds already. But you look at their roster, you're just like, I don't mean rebuild like trade some of the young guys they've just drafted, but if I were them, I would consider trading Beal for as much as you can now, and then obviously just trading Westbrook for maybe whatever you could get for him, if anything, because of that contract. And I would trade Bertans, and I would see if I could move on from a few other people, and I would just try to rebuild. For me, I'm like, man, I think you get a guy like Suggs to play with, like the other Gonzaga guy they just drafted, or just somebody like that. That'd be like a good fit.
Rui.
So if it's Washington, I would hit the rebuild button there for sure.
I think I'd go the other way. I'd just keep the guys. I don't think you're getting much back from Westbrook, and his production outweighs what you're going to get back. And I think Beal, you can maybe if he asks for a trade at some point, then you get rid of him. And then hopefully Rui takes a step. And then didn't they draft someone else this year?
Yeah,
another guy,
Denny,
the guy who can't make a free throw.
Denny.
And if they take steps, maybe you have something with like for a year or two, like with those four.
Yeah, we'll
do
see.
They look like they're going to take that big step? Probably not. But
no.
You're 5 years away if you start trading guys, and I don't know. It's tough to sit through that.
I guess they did get the 8th seed. And, for some franchises at the moment, that's not the worst thing in the world. We've been there before through the Warriors years
for
too.
sure.
So sometimes you just take it when you can get it. All right,
and I don't see how they're going to get Suggs either. Like with the pick they're going to
have. No, they're not going to. I was just thinking that would be like a good fit for them. A player like that. Brooklyn, Boston. Let's talk more about from the Boston standpoint here. A lot of ripple effects from this big loss here. Tatum shows he's just an elite scorer. Drops 50, 40. He was really good. Get poked in the eye there. Did it all during the series.
Did he say he saw 3 hoops?
He did not say he saw 3 ribs during that one. I think but let's talk about the post-Boston loss here. Kind of Ainge steps down. Stevens takes over as the GM or president, right, of operations, basically the GM as well.
Yeah.
So he'll be making the decisions there. It feels like I heard this on a podcast somewhere, and I thought it was a decent point. It kind of feels like they're trying to make him like a Pat Riley of their franchise, or like a figurehead basically to kind of keep moving him through. He took a lot of heat. Obviously, he's white in a Boston culture there. It kind of seems like not really fair to interview anybody else for the job. Kind of seems already pre-made there. I think that ruffled some feathers. It seemed like when he was first hired a little bit there, people just kind of questioning the process with it all and stuff like that. So overall, I think Stevens is a pretty good coach. I think his record has proven it. I mean, he's been to like 5 Eastern Conference Finals in 7 years, and he didn't always have the best teams. I would say most of the year he didn't always have the best teams, especially years like with Isaiah Thomas and such. So I think some of the criticism of him is fair. But especially this last year, he couldn't figure out how to play with this team. But I don't know. What's your thoughts on Ainge and just kind of like the whole Boston thing there?
Ainge. Let's start with Ainge. Ainge is it's just a weird thing to me. Like, when he said, "Oh, I want to go to Utah after this or something," I was like, "Why would Utah want you? They look at the team they've
Did he actually
like
say
put
that? I don't
together."
remember.
Yeah, like he's like, my other choice if I were to leave would be Utah.
Which
And I
isn't
know,
surprising.
no, not surprising at all. He seems to love those type of towns.
Talking about white culture.
And then yeah, a
He
little
did play at
not his
BYU.
culture. But then to Stevens, I don't see why he would be fired. He's been to 3 Eastern Conference finals. He took a team with Isaiah Thomas being the best player to a 1 seed. He's never had like the most talent. This year was probably his most talented team, but Kemba was hurt for most of the year. Like even when he was playing, he wasn't the old Kemba.
Yeah.
Jaylen Brown has taken huge steps to becoming a superstar. If he will he get there, I don't know, but he's going to be a star. And all under Stevens' tutelage, and that's the guy who I think is the key to this whole thing, Jaylen Brown. And so, yeah, did they not interview anyone? No, because they don't want Stevens to get away. Like,
Yeah. It's still just kind of,
it's too important to the. What I've said this on Twitter and I've said it before. I just see Stevens ending up at Duke at some point. I don't like ever since he coached him in the Butler. I was like, that guy looks like the future of Duke basketball.
it seems like Duke's going to try to keep it in house.
Well, Sire's gonna get the job. But
Yeah, but
even
then
after,
don't you think
after
if he,
Sire,
well, what if he got you see like Amaker or something like that, possibly from Harvard taking over or
wouldn't they
something?
give him the job now, though?
No, maybe I kind of disagree with you. I don't see Stevens ever taking over Duke. I see. I
I
get
mean,
your.
I'm not saying it's gonna happen. It's a long shot to happen to pick
You-
one guy to go somewhere. I'm just saying he looks like he would fit that, and I think he would be very successful if he did decide to do that.
I kind of feel like that would be the fit if like almost like Kentucky, like Duke pulled a Kentucky, like where they kind of were irrelevant there for like 10, 12 years. And they needed help, but like Duke kind of fell off the map so bad. And like Stevens just kind
I
of
see what
timed
you're
down to the
saying.
Celtics, and it's like, oh, let's throw a lot of money at this guy to take over our program. That's what I can
If
see.
Sire turns into that Gillespie guy from Texas A&M who went to
That
Kentucky, it was a bub.
that was not the best hire in the world there. Hey, let's quickly go over Hawks and Knicks here. The
Hold on,
Hawks.
before
They
we're talking.
wait, go ahead.
Go ahead. No, you go ahead. I'll get into it later.
Hawks Knicks. Young's floater, unreal. Let's see what they have in the second round. That was my like main takeaways. Obviously, there are some other things I was impressed with the Hawks. They obviously just have more talent than them. But go ahead.
The most impressive thing to me is Trae Young's attitude and how he plays the villain perfectly.
Yeah.
He's just it's given him this side of him that I didn't know he had that I really enjoy watching.
So you root for it.
In this instance, it might wear thin in the future, but a young up and coming player going to New York and just saying like bowing and doing all these and beating them and saying no, like it just was very fun for me.
Yeah, he has a lot. Yeah, his swag and confidence is I'd say pretty high right now.
Yeah, exactly. It was. You don't see it very often, like a guy do this.
No, the Knicks. Randall obviously not a number one. We all kind of knew that already. I don't even know if he's. I don't even know if he's number two.
He's a good player. He's
a really good player.
Be an all-star.
I mean, but we're talking about when you get from regular season. This is why we had that conversation last week about the regular season, people missing games. It can be kind of flawed at times. If you play hard every night, you can. There's games to be won and play well. Randall's a really good player on a championship team. Unless the player's really good, he probably needs to be your third best player, which is not an insult. I feel like. I mean, most teams have 3 good players now if you're winning a championship. So I don't think I don't take it as a jab at him. I think he's good, but he's flawed obviously in some areas, and the Knicks roster is a little bit flawed too. So the Hawks come out on top there. Casey's not here to talk about his Knicks at all, but they were much more entertaining this year than I would have ever thought. It was good to see D Rose be back. That was my big takeaway from the Knicks. To be honest, it was good to see him like play and play well. He had a big shot in game 1 there to tie it up. The Hawks ended up winning though.
I think the biggest takeaway from the Knicks is you actually got something out of RJ Barrett. You didn't miss. He's not going to be a bum. He might not be the superstar Zion is, but at least you have somebody who can score 20 a night.
Lately.
Yeah, they got somebody. Maybe you use him in a trade piece later for like, not saying this trade, but like a Dame Lillard, like, but a different guy 2 years from now or something to
I
get
think
him.
Casey admitted last week Obi wasn't the number one pick overall, but he at least showed some signs of maybe an average player at least this year at the end there. So maybe he can still do the lobs and stuff at the end there. So maybe he's still got a little room for growth, but I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
all right, let's move on to the West real quick here. Actually, let's take a quick little break, and then we'll be back to talk about the West.
Some
All right, we're back. We're gonna go West here. What were you gonna say?
I just wanted to get into some of the young superstars after we preview these, or not review these rounds.
All right, we'll do that. LA Phoenix. We wanted to get into that one. The Lakers and Phoenix series. I was a little bit shocked still. It's just kind of like you don't see it, right? LeBron's never lost a first round of the series, so it's like until it happens, it's hard to like kind of really bet against it, right? So Devin Booker, he came out for blood in the last game. He played unreal. My big takeaway is LeBron looks like, he walks off the court. He looked dejected basically as soon as AD went out with his injury, which maybe he probably should not have even been in. He looked horrible. I can't believe he got approved.
Oh, he shouldn't have played a minute.
I can't believe the doctor actually approved him. And Barkley was ripping on making that point basically on the post game. And I think even at halftime, he was making that point too. So,
yeah, but hold on. Barkley was in the wrong for this because the day before they were calling him dress, everyday dress or whatever dress Anthony Davis. Like he's always in dress clothes or like his street clothes. And then he tries to play and they rip him for trying to play. And it kind of rubbed me the wrong way that like you're going to rip him for being in dress clothes because he's not playing. And then you're going to rip him for trying to play.
Yeah, I didn't take it as they were ripping Anthony Davis. I took it as they were ripping the doctors for letting him play.
Well, why are you ripping him for being in dress clothes though? Like,
well, that's true. That I can't think of, but they were ripping on the doctor when he decided to play, not Anthony Davis, is what my take was. But I guess Anthony Davis ultimately has a say in that, I guess. But the doctors,
for sure.
the doctors somehow approved him though still. So yeah, LeBron looked dejected. That irritated a lot of people. That LeBron always irritating people.
Everything LeBron does rubs somebody either the right or wrong way.
He's just too polarizing. He's too big, huh?
What was that?
He's just too polarizing, like too big at this point.
Exactly.
Whatever.
What do you think of him walking off the court with 5 minutes left? No big deal, kind of a big deal.
I don't really want to say kind of a big deal because I feel like that's kind of a bailout, but I feel like that is the right answer because it's not like a massive deal to where like he should be like really criticized. I don't think it's like a small deal either. Like to me, it's just somewhere in the middle. Like it'd be kind of nice to just, I don't know, like
just a stupid thing to do.
Destroyed him in games, when you beat him in Game 7, just shake their hand or even do what you did against the Warriors in the finals. Maybe go over earlier and shake their hands even and leave. You know what I mean? Remember when he did that? Yeah. He like went over earlier. Yeah. I don't think it's the end of the world though, but it is kind of, I know for a lot of people, that is a big deal. And I know it rubs a lot of people the wrong way.
And I'm never for like always quitting on his teammates. He's not quitting on his teammates. There's nothing to quit on. You guys already got destroyed and he was part of that. So like they got killed. But I think you should just sit on the sidelines and wait. What's 15 minutes really going to do for you?
Well, nobody else can do that. And so that's where you feel bigger.
Leave?
Yeah, I don't think Big Caruso could leave necessarily.
Oh, no one on the Lakers for sure could do that. I thought you meant in the league. I was like, I'm sure some guys could do that.
Caruso, Drummond's like, I'm out of here. He's like, you're gone the next day. So from the Phoenix side, Paul grits it out. Booker looks like he's going to be a top 10 player for the next 4 to 5 years. Remember, we had that discussion earlier about who would you rather have, Mitchell or Booker? It's still really close, right? But there's still something about Booker that's just so much more natural. I like that. It's just like, I'm taking him.
Booker is the closest thing to Klay Thompson offensively I've seen, but he has more to his game than Klay. He's probably not the shooter Klay is, but he's still a damn good shooter. And he can dribble a little more and is a little better off the dribble, but he doesn't play the defense and he's not as big. So like Klay has his advantages in that. Like I'm not saying Devin's better than Klay, but he's a better offensive, like can do more offensively.
Booker has a chance to get better than Clay, though. He's definitely
Oh,
has a
for sure.
chance.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
he
yeah, I'd
definitely has
agree
a
with
chance
that.
for sure. Let's get on to Utah, Memphis here. Um, Memphis, John Morant, legit. Now I just feel like I feel like now the team, it's good for them to get some playoff experience, that team, another year, because they're kind of like an under the radar team. So now that they have a little bit more experience, they can still sneak up on people next year because people aren't going to really think of them as a playoff team. They'll think of Morant really, but I think they won't them. But I don't think they'll necessarily think of Memphis as, oh, they'll make the playoffs. But I feel like Memphis is going to be a sneaky, maybe it could be like a 6 seed next year if things fall right for them. Um, I just love Kyle Anderson on that team. I don't know what it is about his game. I'm a big fan of Kyle Anderson. And then Valanciunas, I mean, he was the other big takeaway for me. I was like, what this guy's actually a legit player. Like when I thought he was maybe, just a bench player and play against another big
Best
type.
game.
I mean, I knew he was always a little bit more skilled than that, but he was way more impactful on Memphis' squad than he was on the other teams he was on. And then, but I don't really know where they upgrade. So I think they need their rookies to get a little bit better. Like the Bane guy wasn't bad. Maybe he plays a little bit better. Maybe he plays more and give Brooks a break because sometimes Brooks can be erratic. He did play unreal though in some of these games. So
I
that's
don't. I don't see Dylan Brooks scoring 20 low 20 points a game like in a full season. Desmond Bay needs to step up and Triple J needs to get better, like a lot better for them to be a playoff threat.
definitely. Because they don't
like
score.
those are where they can improve the roster. And like other than that, I don't know. Unless they find somebody in the draft that
Wouldn't they be kind of a
misses.
sneaky trade for Bradley Beal?
Yeah, they could do that. They could put something together, I'm sure.
I don't know how Grizzlies fans would be feeling about adding like Brooks to something like that, but
and I don't think Bradley Beal will guarantee a re-sign there, so I doubt.
Probably not. Probably not.
Like,
Utah, Mitchell. Let's just keep Utah quick. Mitchell back, definitely a lot better. Gobert just continues to show me he just is not a prime time player. Like he gets the stats, but like you're watching him with your eye test, and you're just like, where you just need to make more impact more often. Like you know what I mean? Like he's not. There's moments, but it's not like it. You know what I mean? Like he's just not good enough offensively to make like that impact.
when you make this take and then you defend Draymond, it's hard for me to.
I'm defending. I always defend Draymond based on your criticism of Draymond, not comparing him to Gobert. But I'm saying that as like Gobert, he got 210.
You just said he's not a big time player, though.
What I mean is like I see Draymond making more impacts during playoff games at moments. He usually plays better during the playoffs. Like that's usually those are his numbers. If you look at them, are better. And I'm watching Draymond. I'm saying he's making a big impact. Sometimes not always, but with Gobert, I don't get that feeling with him offensively as much. And I don't think his defense translates to as much over the play, during the moments. Like Draymond during like some of the Portland series, like even like a couple of years ago, or when they made the finals that one year, like he dominated that. Like he was unreal offensively there, pushing the ball.
I wasn't ridiculing him then.
What have you done for me lately? All right, we got two more to get. We got two more to get into. Portland, Denver, Jokic, MVP proves it for sure. He plays well. He's unreal, right? He is.
He's the best offensive center since Shaq, most skilled since Hakeem. Maybe Joel Embiid's right there with him, though. I mean, Embiid was MVP until he got hurt, so I can't really. But he's put the whole year together. So
how about Big Yao? Big Yao, Daddy. Big Yao.
He didn't do it for like 2 years. Big Yao's right there too, I guess.
Well,
not right there. Skill. He's behind those guys.
Or he's a Hall of Famer.
He did a lot for China.
10-time All-Star, right? That's good.
Is that how many All-Star you guys?
I think it's like something crazy that's like 8 or something like that. 8 starts too. Porter Jr. emerging is my other note, and Malone, a really good coach. I like him even more and more there. Portland, Dame, first player to get 55 points, 10 threes,
10 assists.
And 10 assists and lose. So in a playoff game. So just what a performance. And the clutchness of that performance was unreal. Foul, Denver. You're up 3.
What'd you think of the nod or the foul they said was before the shot that was on Austin Rivers that Me and Case were arguing about it in the text. Did you ever see the play?
No, I didn't. What was the play?
Damian Lillard's going left. He tries to look like he gets fouled. And like Austin Rivers is like guarding him. And then as soon as Damian jumps, Austin just pulls away. He doesn't get touched, but they call it ticky tack, like foul before, like they just so they could get the ball back. It's a really
Oh,
weird call, like that. I was like, this isn't. They need to do something about this.
no, I didn't see that one for some reason. I missed that one. But
The
because I
shooting
don't
by
get him.
Damian Lillard was spectacular.
No, he was unreal. But they fire Stotts, like I said. Their interior defense is just bad, and I don't know what they do. They don't really have a ton of assets, and their picks aren't like really good. You know what I mean?
They
So
wasted it all on Nurkic and
they need like some guys.
Covington.
They need some guys to play well next year that they can move on from, like Covington and Nurkic and like Zach
Simone.
Collins. Yeah, they need some like a young guy to start playing well. They could package with those guys to get to like move on from them. My Zach Collins, I'm sticking with him. Come on, Zach, one more year. We're gonna stick with you.
Digging deep.
Digging deep with you. Again, Zach, that fourth year, we're gonna stick with you. One more year. All right, Dallas Clippers. We're gonna predict the game 7 here later, but just real quick, Luka. He's such a weird player with his like size. Like
Yeah.
he doesn't come across looking massive on TV because he's not ripped or anything like that. But like his girth has got to be so much because like even like a Paul George just getting like pushed down to the block, and he's got such good footwork. You know what I mean? Like down there, and he's got that fadeaway game. But he always, he kind of the only thing he bothers me though. Like I don't like really rooting for him though because I would love to like he'd be like the type of player I'd want to get under his skin because he's always complaining to the ref. And then he's always like, he always acts like he's hurt to be. I'm like, I always want to like just.
He's kind of a baby.
It's hard for me to root for him that much. I mean, he's unreal, but he's just kind of a baby. Yeah. What do you think?
And the way people make love to him, like he's the best player in the NBA already. Like Bill Simmons and those guys, it bugs me. I'm like, he's a great, amazing player. I thought like he could be the best player in the NBA once LeBron, KD leave. But he's not yet. He's puts up numbers, but his usage rate's out of the roof.
Their style's so like kind of like boring though, because
I wish they used him in like coming off screens and stuff.
I wish they'd play faster. I think he'd be unreal playing at a faster pace.
Yeah, play Brunson at the point and let him.
Well, even just let him push the ball more. He's such a good passer. Like, don't always slow down and play that pick and roll game. Just push it more. What do you think? I heard a trade rumor of Porzingis for Valanciunas on the Grizzlies. Do you think Dallas should do that?
If I'm Dallas, I'd do that.
Yeah.
I'm doing anything to get away from Porzingis.
They're playing Boban a ton. Boban's getting a lot of
love. With Porzingis.
Yeah, just get a lot. Luka, I noticed he likes to do the little pick and rolls, and then he just knows Boban so big, so damn tall. He just lobs it up over his head, like he just over that. But he's so stiff. Like he's not a good defensive rebounder. I've been watching that. Zubac is just like dominating him on the offensive glass. I'm like, he's just too slow. Like he's tall, but I'm like, he's just too slow.
Not very quick feet.
Yeah, and the Clippers, they're flawed. Leonard unreal though, right?
That's
the bottom line. You got big Reggie Jackson.
Playoff P's been playing pretty good this series. When they win, I feel like he plays good. When they lose, he sucks.
That's how he always is, though.
Yeah, no.
If you look at his playoff history, that's how he usually is.
You just can't hit the side of the backboard this game 7 to get ripped like he did last year.
If he does, could you imagine it?
Oh God. They're gotta blow that thing up if they lose, don't they?
Ryan Rosillo, he has like all the facts on Paul George. Like I remember one time I listened to one of his podcasts. It was like a list of playoff failures. It was like, man, this guy really did some research into his playoff piece suckiness. All right, well, that was our kind of look back at the first round. We'll be back with our picks for the next round and the odds going forward here. All right, we're back. Picks. Second round now. Let's move on. We'll also pick the Clippers-Dallas game here, obviously, at the end. We'll start with the East again. Philly-Atlanta, interesting series. Game 1, Embiid questionable. It's obviously the big point of the whole series. He plays, that makes a massive difference. Capella needs somebody. I mean, Capella's not great, but Embiid could get him in a foul trouble immediately, and then they would be in trouble. For tonight's game, Hawks are a small underdog, plus 135. What's your initial thoughts? Who do you like to pull out the series?
Oh, if Embiid's healthy, I will take him the Sixers in like 5. But if he's hobbled at all, I got the Hawks in 6. So
You think the Hawks can still pull it off?
I don't think their offensive firepower is just unbelievable. Everybody they put out there can score. Hoarder, Trey. If Hunter's healthy, if he plays a little better than he did in the first round, that'd be huge. And then Collins and Capella's the ultimate, other than Gobert screen and run to the rim for alley-oops.
Yeah, he's really good at that.
Beast off those. And Bogdanovich, forgot to even add him. They just have scoring everywhere on that roster that it's hard to keep up with. And if you have Embiid to slow it down and dominate down low, then yeah, the Sixers have a huge advantage. But if you don't have him protecting the rim or scoring at the rate he should be, then I think Atlanta could cause a lot of trouble for this team.
It's an interesting matchup to me because Philadelphia has some really good wing defenders they can throw out, and like Thibault's really good. So we'll see.
Yeah, but he plays like 10 minutes a game.
Well, this series, I bet he plays a little bit more. That would be my guess.
Especially if Embiid's not healthy.
Yeah, I guarantee you're going to see him on Young a little bit at times, and you'll probably see him on Bogdanovich a little bit at times, the ball handler. So I would be surprised if he guards him. Simmons is long as well. Harris is long as well. So we'll see how. To me, I'm kind of looking forward to it. I think Philly takes game 1, but I think I got Philly winning the series in 7. I think it's going to be a 7-game series. But I just believe in Doc's honeymoon stage. And I feel like he'll at least get to the Eastern Conference Finals. He always has a 2-year honeymoon stage. I feel like they'll play good for 2 years, and then maybe there'll be a little setback. So I'm going to bank on that theory, and I'm going to stick with it. So I'm going to say they end up winning this one. And I just think they're a little bit better. I don't think the Hawks are quite ready.
You bringing up Doc's funny. It's so weird how mixed people's reactions are to Doc. Some people are like, he's the worst coach of the NBA. Like,
I know. I think our guy Savage isn't a fan.
I'm just the worst coach in the NBA. I mean, he could be not. He's an average to good coach, in my opinion. Like, I think I think people get sick of him. Like, he has that 2-year window, like you said, like where he's just, and then but it's just weird how much some people hate him as like a coach.
Yeah, I think he's kind of he just annoys some people. He's kind of like opinionated in some areas too. All right, so I got Philly. You got Atlanta. That's a good little difference there. We'll see where that follow.
After game 1, if I really believe, depending on Embiid's health.
So basically, you're not picking anybody then.
I wouldn't bet on it.
Well, no, but who are you picking with me against me? Who are you picking? As of this morning, Embiid's questionable. I'm taking Philly still in 7.
For the sake of the show, I'll take Atlanta.
For the sake of the show, get out of here. All right, Brooklyn versus Milwaukee. Let's get into that a little bit.
You want to get into changing picks? We could get into that if you want.
Well, I'm just saying make a pick. I didn't change the pick. I'm saying make the pick. All right, Brooklyn, Milwaukee. What do you think? Brooklyn takes game 1. Harden's out after the first minute. I didn't really get a chance to watch the whole game. I saw the highlights. It looked like Middleton was way off his game yesterday. And I kind of forgot about that. I forgot about the injury, though. I just can't say the guy's name, but the guy from Villanova, the little white guy from Milwaukee.
DiVincenzo.
Yeah, and he's out for the series. And he's kind of a little microwave guy for them. So that's kind of a sneaky bad loss, especially against a team like New Jersey, Brooklyn, where you're going to need to score at times. So I feel like that's kind of a big loss for them. I'm not saying like the end of the world, but at times it could be. Like last night they lost by 8. He could have been, a little important to keep it going for Middleton when he was playing bad. So who do you like in that series?
I like Brooklyn. I'm the biggest Kevin Durant fan in the league. There is.
I think
he's the greatest. I think I've come to the conclusion in my head he's the greatest offensive player I've ever seen.
He wasn't even that great last night, it looked like, either.
He wasn't, but he just scores from any level on the floor, and he's great. He's unreal at all 3 levels of scoring. Like the mid-range, he's probably the best. 3-point, he's top 10, and then he's 7 feet and he has great touch, so he's good around the basket on his putbacks. And like miss shots and little floaters, and
He's got a good post
he
game.
doesn't miss free throws. So
Yeah.
like and he's 7 feet tall, and he's not a terrible passer. He doesn't look to pass a ton, but
Yeah, he's definitely got to be the best offensive player in the last 20 years.
in my opinion, I mean, LeBron has a little thing. He's a better passer, but he's not the shooter or the mid-range game. Or
my argument would be like he's better than Kobe only because he's more efficient at times. Kobe's just more of a killer. Like in the sense of the game part of it, like the game, like winning the game, there's a part where there's a mental side where Kobe's like, F something, I'm just taking over, and they need to do that. But Durant, just in terms of like pure skill, like you're saying, he might be at each level. Kobe wasn't a top 10 3-point shooter, but but when he needed to be, he was. But that's why he was so special.
He was still clutch.
So you got Brooklyn. I'm gonna
even
stick
without
with,
Harden.
I'm gonna stick with Milwaukee. I'm gonna stick with him. I'm gonna say they bounce back in game 2. I'm gonna say Harden can't play, and they just somehow they're able to pull out game 2, and then they're able to win 2 in Milwaukee, and then pull it out in game 6. That's what we're going with today, with my pick right there.
Taking the Bucks isn't a bad move. They did shoot 6 of like 30 from 3, so they're like one of the best 3-point shooting teams in the NBA. So you know who's really Joe Harris is a stud. He was doing stuff off the dribble where I was like, I didn't know you had this in your game. He like came off a screen and hit like a free throw, little extended jumper. I'm like, all right, I see you.
And we should mention Blake Griffin played well.
Oh, Blake Griffin looks like a whole new Blake Griffin.
Yeah,
I think he's just as impactful in this role as he was with the Clippers. I mean, he was a better player back then. But the impact.
And you can tell
he's huge. You said it when they picked him up. You're like, this is the best guy you could get in this type of market.
Yeah.
And he's by far he's a good player. He's really good.
Thank you for pointing that out. I forgot about that.
I always try to build my co-host up.
Well, I appreciate that. No, I just felt like at the time he had the most upside, and that's kind of what with that roster, anyways,
turned out to be the player
because he's playing with great players. So he's not going to be the center of attention at all anymore. So he has a chance to really flourish. But he's actually playing better defensively too than I thought. All right, let's get to the West here real quick. Phoenix, Denver. Who do you like?
I'm sticking with Phoenix. I've been on
from the beginning of the year.
Again.
We disagree again.
From the beginning of the year. I'm going with I need Paul to get healthy. That's the key.
He was dead on the court there for a few hours.
I mean, he knows how to act up. He knows how to act also. He's a very good actor.
I chased the channel. I was like, what the hell's going on? Somebody collapsed on the court.
He was wiggling around like a worm. Devin Booker's a stud, and I really enjoy the way he plays. Like I said, that's another reason I think Kevin Durant. I'm going to bring it back to Kevin Durant, LeBron, or not Kevin Durant, Clay, and Booker. They can play off the ball. It's so nice when you have somebody who can do that, and they're efficient and they're good at it. And it's just every superstar now doesn't do it. They all want the ball at the top of the key and go pick and roll when it really matters.
I'm going Jokic. I'm going Denver, man. There. I don't know why you don't believe it. I mean, if Jokic is the MVP, I think Ayton's a pretty good matchup for him. I think he can take advantage of.
I think Ayton's a good matchup for. I think he's the best big man defender other than Gobert.
I think it's a good matchup for Jokic though, because I feel like I don't think Ayton's played somebody like him in a playoff yet, and I feel like Jokic has been through it a little bit, where he might be able to take advantage of him more than we're thinking. And they do not have any backup bigs that are worth anything. So if he's able to get
they have none.
So if he's able to get any foul trouble on them, and they have to pay Big Frank the Tank, they might be in trouble there against him.
For Sarge,
I really like Porter Jr.'s game, and I really like their guard Morris. I don't know what it is about him.
I brought him up when what's his name got hurt. Not Harris, other guy.
And Rivers has been pretty good for him.
He was available for 10 months. How does no one have him like before that? Just weird.
But he's like a perfect fit for Denver, who has a guy that got hurt. You know what I mean? Like it's no like
you can't be big on Rivers. Get out of here. He's not a good player. He's okay.
No, I'm not saying he's a good player. What I'm saying is I like him for that team with no other options after Murray got hurt. He seems to be playing a role for him because he's kind of a slinger. And so
Yeah,
like at times
fearless.
they need somebody that can score on the perimeter because they don't really have that with what's the other guy you kind of liked? Papajukio?
Yeah. Campanella.
Whatever his name
I
was.
don't know. If Paul's healthy, I think it's Phoenix wins in
But he's not.
6. Yeah, but he can, if he, not even healthy, if he can get through 6 full games.
All right. Dallas Clippers, game 7. Who you got tonight?
I'm going Clippers. I mean,
I
I want
got you.
Dallas. I want Dallas, but
Let's look at the odds right
just
here. Let me tell you the odds real quick here. So for the game tonight, or this afternoon, I should say, they are, I think we're earlier, it's dropped to, so they're they're minus 270 favorite here. So you'd have to put 270 to win 100 on them. That's the favorite they are. So Dallas plus 220.
that's how big of a favorite.
Yeah, Dallas is plus 220. So you get some pretty good odds there with Dallas if you wanted to, 100 to get 220.
I mean,
That's
if
not
I'm
bad.
betting, I'm betting on Dallas then with those odds.
Not bad at all. That's not bad at all right there. So you got, I'm gonna take, it's hard. You see a world where Dallas can win, but I'm gonna go with the Clippers too. I feel like I wish we could disagree, but we disagree on 3 of the other 3. So I think we can agree on this one. I just think they're gonna pull it out. And then I think if Utah real quick gets it to them, I think Utah can take either team.
Frank has a like $200 bet on Utah to win it all at 40-1 at the beginning of the year.
That's darn good odds, man.
Yeah, it's looking pretty good right now. I was like, holy smokes.
That's not bad
Or
odds.
30-1.
30 to 200 on it?
Like, yeah.
Jeez.
Or 100 maybe.
Good huevos right there. I put 50 cents on. I put 50 cents to win $92 this morning. Let's see if I can pull that off.
$92.
Yeah, on baseball. We'll see if I can pull that off. All right, so that's our predictions for the West. I'm looking forward to the games. Just real quick, what's the one you're kind of like you're itching for that you're looking forward to, like kind of watching?
Bucks.
Bucks.
Nets. I enjoyed the shit out of that game yesterday. I just love watching KD play basketball. I think it's
Yeah, I think
like
that one always
therapeutic thing.
And you have Giannis and KD on the court at the same time. Two of the best players in the game right now. I'm looking forward to Phoenix Denver, as you know. That's the series. That's the game the one that I'm looking forward to. I feel like it's gonna be up tempo at times. And I think it's gonna be like a little less defense, a little upflow to the games. Good West Coast flavor. I think that's the way I'm gonna go with on that one. There. So let's take a quick little break here, our last one, and we'll be back to wrap it up. We're back. Wrap it up here quickly. Let's touch on Coach K. He says he's retiring after this season. He's going to go Derek Jeter-esque, get the flowers at every game, get all the gifts, get all the surfboards or whatever people give away at these random ceremonies. You know it's going to happen, right? So he's going to get the walk off.
For sure.
I call it the Derek Jeter treatment because he did it right. There's some players that do it the Todd Helton way and game over, a retiree, or there's some that do it the good old fashioned way where you get a lot of love for a year. He holds so many records in college basketball. I mean, he's been a fixture of our basically whole college basketball life, right? Like even before, crazy to think about. He was over at Army and then Duke took over in the 80s. And his teams have just been steady and always relevant and so hated because they were so relevant over the years. It's not even like the players he had were that hateable either. They were like actually pretty good, like big guys for the most part, but their teams were always just so good. Felt like they always got charge calls. They always had these like pesky little like white guys. You're like, how's this guy like doing good? But they were all like seniors and just could play well together and stuff. So I don't know. What's your thoughts on Coach K?
I mean, just a terrific career. One of the best. I think he was like this. He was never held accountable for anything he ever did wrong.
Yeah.
Like he had these one and dones that were all like, he had Cam Reddish, Zion, and RJ Barrett. Then when Kentucky does this, it's like, oh, Coach Cal's dirty oil salesman, but Coach K, it's always favorably looked upon. And that's like the one downside. He had this image that I think was this
too clean.
yeah, too clean for me. Where I was like, there's something going on. But he has, as a coach, like he's good. So he's the best coach I think that I've seen. Or not seen because I don't really know what they do behind the scenes. But like the best coach has the best resume of any coach since John Wooden. And I
Yeah,
don't think it's
John Wooden
really.
was just, I was just thinking of John Wooden when you said that too, because he kind of takes a little uh, kind of heat too, because he kind of has a clean record. And I know Bobby Knight said a few things. I'm not sure Bobby Knight's the best resource, but he kind of did some, some recruiting that was not maybe the way the way you're supposed to do it. But when you win like that, people are going to maybe sometimes look the other way. But I don't think that's really the thing with Coach K as much, because you look at some of his teams. It's not like he always had higher recruited players as well.
No,
Not
I
always,
was.
not highly touted, I should say. They're probably highly.
No, you're right. You're absolutely right. I was looking at that John, when John Shire got the job. I was looking at that team. It is
Yeah.
a god awful team. The starting lineup was Singler, who was a good player, Lance Thomas, who I don't even remember,
You did make the NBA lands though.
Zuback, Shire, and Nolan Smith, and then the Plumlees came off the bench. I was like, this team is god awful. How is this team a national championship team? What was going on this year in college basketball?
Here's some of Coach K's records: 1,170 wins, 12 Final Fours, 15 30-win seasons, 517 ACC wins, and he has 41 first-round NBA draft picks. So there's a couple crazy stats that, and he sent 67 of them to the NBA players. So
67 what? 41 first round pick, 67.
Yeah. So that's kind of crazy. He's just, I don't know. I thought it was important for us to just kind of bring it up real quick. I thought he was a good coach. Did the Olympics as well.
Great career. Yeah, three gold medals. Ever since he took over as the Olympic coach, they have not won anything but gold.
Yeah, no, that's true too. There's just something about him, like he's just kind of like the main college guy, and I feel like in our times, and I remember with him too that he almost taking over the Lakers. That's the other thing I remember with him.
Oh, I do remember that.
Like that was like Kobe really wanted him, and it looked like it was close. Remember they were gonna have an announcement about it, and I think he pulled out at the last minute. Basically, it kind of sounded like to me.
Yeah, it looked like he was going. That's the thing with Coach K. Also, he has the respect of all the NBA players who didn't even play for him. Like LeBron loves him. I mean, I guess they played for him with the USA team, but like LeBron loves him, Kobe loves him.
Will John Shire be able to still get LeBron's kid? That's the key.
Yeah, exactly. Like what happens?
Will John be able to get the key? Will he be able to get the King's kid?
Let's be real. He's going to the G League and not going to play college basketball.
Yeah, that would be funny with LeBron. What happens there? Yeah, what would happen? Will he actually like go against the system? You would think so, right?
I'd almost guarantee it.
See. All right, well, good podcast there. Hopefully, we can start playing some basketball here too.
Yeah, that'd be nice. It's been way too long.
I saw Jordan Miracle at the graduation yesterday. I guess the airport club's open up there, so he's playing masked basketball there for a few weeks. They still have to play
masked basketball.
They still have to play in mask at the airport club. He's like, they kick you out. He said if they don't. I was like, I'm sure there's a lot of people that don't even play because they have to wear a mask. He said, yeah, that's the truth there. So and I was talking to Matt Lunsell. He's doing a traveling basketball league where he's making money doing it. They put $20 in. He's in there playing at Hearn Park and Finley Park. He's got like 7 or 8 guys, and they're just, I guess they play, I don't know, for money. Or they travel around.
What? Matt Lunsell's doing what? How did he get on this team?
I don't know. He said they play at Hearn Park, so I want to kind of watch them play. I think it sounded legit. It sounded like it was legit. So,
which sounds like you're betting your own money. That's how you make money, right?
That's what it sounds like to me. But I bet the games get intense.
Yeah, I can only imagine so. You probably don't have that greatest of characters out there. Also, that'd be very interesting with that money. Yes, it'd be divvied up.
Get out there. What's the movie? White Man Can't Jump. He's out there doing that. Pull it off. All right. Well, good podcast this week, Casey. Hopefully, we'll see you next week, my friend. Next week we should have a lot more to get into NBA. I kind of want to get into MLB a little bit next week. There's some good storylines we're missing out on as well. So we'll start kind of hitting that a little bit more. But the NBA is just kind of prime right now with second round and playoffs starting to hit. So
yeah,
it's too much right now. Too much good stuff going on right now. So We'll be back next week. We'll try to do a few more hits during the week. Tyler's going to try to do a few more during the week as well. We might do some random podcasts as well. Maybe do some of our own little ones, and we'll still put it out under the Fatboy FadeAway Sports there. So, Greg, we're thinking of you. Keep recovering there, and hopefully we can get you on the podcast as well. Maybe with the Giants playing so well down the line, we could get his thoughts on it as well. So, all right, guys, we'll talk to you soon.
We have a new Instagram page.
Oh yeah,
FadeAway,
please promote that
on Instagram. Please follow and then subscribe to the podcast if you haven't and you're watching this. Thank you.
Tyler's been quite active, I can say. He's been very good with it, posting a lot of stuff out there. So yeah, so that also check out some of the other podcasts this week. House of Hoops, they had a good one this week. I listened to theirs. Also the Let's Be Real podcast. They should have one out today as well. They have a really good podcast as well. And so yeah, check out some other pods there as well. But be sure to check out Fatboy FadeAway Sports. All right, guys, have a good week. Talk to you soon. Later.
Peace.